Rob Mudge, a champion for excellence.
Wow, how fast 60 years go by. I don't know how to say this other than, when I was told I was going to be an inductee, I didn't know about even being nominated. My wife and some of my real good friends kept that a secret. So obviously I'm very humbled and very honored to have been selected this year, and overwhelmed to be considered in the company of those inductees of the past and those of the present. We're going to do our best to keep up the good work and keep the culture of excellence going. But like everybody else, I need to take a moment and say thanks to a lot of folks that are here tonight in support. To thank you from the bottom of my heart. And the first is my mom, and I can't see her there because of the bright lights, but I know she's out there somewhere. Hi, Mom. And my dad from above, he passed away a couple months ago, and he was the inspiration for our company 34 years ago. And then I got the rest of my family is I got over here. I got Shelly, our oldest daughter from Phoenix, and her kids, Gala and Jenna. I've got our youngest daughter, Shelly, and her family, or Sheila, I'm sorry, Sheila. Sheila and her family, and Dale, the husband. And then I've got to see Debbie's mom is here, Dolores, and her brother Craig and Barb, and their daughter Lindsay, and her friend Matt, who is in the Air Force and is going to be deployed here this January. So thank you, Matt, for taking good care of us. And then I've got my little sister here, Connie. She's here as well, and her husband, Ron, and their daughter, Christy, from North Dakota. And then beyond that, I've got several business partners, friends, and other additional relatives here that would compete and take up my next 5 minutes that I don't want to do. So thank you all for your support. It's greatly appreciated, very heartfelt. I know what you're thinking. He forgot to say something about his wife. No, I didn't. I could not forget my wife. How could I forget that fine lady that's been my boss at home for almost 42 years? She's been my boss at work for 34 years, signing my paycheck. And that's no kidding. She's the love of my life. She's my best friend. She's made me a better man. She sees me at my best. She sees me at my worst. And she still loves me. Please welcome Debbie. So anyway, I've been asked to speak a little bit about the culture of excellence, and unfortunately, Dave kind of took my thunder because I looked up on Google and Webster's Dictionary what culture was and excellence was, and I learned about, it's how people work and behave in a group, and I learned about excellence as a state of excelling and all that, so I'm not going to repeat that, so thanks for helping me out there. I appreciate that, Dave. But what I learned from that as well is that from those definitions and that, a culture of excellence is something very special. It doesn't just happen. The curiosity makes one wonder, how does it happen? Is there a special formula? Is there a recipe? Well, there is, and I think that recipe and formula is very unique and very different for every one of us in this room and all the inductees of present and past. We all have differences, but they all achieve that culture of excellence. But maybe there's some things that we all have in common that might be part of the recipe, part of the ingredients. And I think some of those things I'd just like to point out real quickly is knowledge. You don't have knowledge, you don't have a special skill, whether it's an advanced education, a trade school, a hobby that you've turned into a business. I talked to Richard Addy the other night, and he took a hobby and turned it into a business. Wow. You have to have leadership, a vision, which includes the character and the great ethics. And I think those are things I'm kind of preaching to the crowd, to the choir here. But you need to be compassionate about what you're doing, whatever it is that you're doing. And I read a book once that talked about leadership being able to do the mundane things extremely well, being willing to not be intimidated by taking on the seemingly impossible, and then not being afraid of criticism because there's always somebody going to tell you you can't do it. So whether you fail or you win, if you're going to be criticized, you might as well at least try. Commitment, that's not desire, it's commitment. It takes a long time, it's a lot of hard work. Dedication, discipline, patience. The best is barely good enough. And whatever you're being asked to do, just do a little bit more than what you've been asked to do. And then a team. You're not going to go far by yourself, so you need a team. I've got an awesome team of family. I've got an awesome team of coworkers. I've got an awesome team of vendors, customers, supporters. That's why you go far. You got a great team. You support each other. You cover each other's back. You cover each other's weaknesses. And then last and most importantly is integrity. Always, always doing the right thing, no matter how difficult, even when nobody's looking. So how does all this relate to the culture of excellence in South Dakota? Well, it does in the fact that I think, there are some of us that are very privileged to have been honored here tonight and through this entire program over the last 40 years. But there's some unsung heroes, and I'd just like to give a couple of real examples of real South Dakotans and their culture of excellence that probably will never see this stage. The first is a guy who was born in Mobridge, family of 7 children on a homestead. His father was killed when he was 9 years old in a car accident. He had to quit school and start working to provide for the family because there wasn't welfare at that time. He was mentored, became an excellent mechanic, and joined the Army, and my time is up. So I'm not going to fight the music. I'll leave you with one last thought. One last thing to remember. In all that you do, remember to keep your priorities right. Faith, family, and friends before fame, fortune, and fun. Thank you.
Rob Mudge, you're a champion for excellence.